Good morning, everybody.
Good morning, sir.
So today's topic is competitive advantage. Um, uh, I sent some reading material a little while back, not early in the morning, even though I wanted to send it early in the morning, but then I was not prepared. So I made it today and then sent it. While preparing, I realized that my slides are pretty old and I need updating. So I'll send updated slides later. I'll not share this slide. I'll send the updated slide. I need to really modify them in a big way. Even then I'm going to discuss based on these slides. Maybe I'll continue in the next session with the new content. So many a times whenever there is a presentation, there will be this question that suppose you are thinking of developing something, you don't have IP, meaning you don't have a patent file. So what do you do if somebody copies that? It's so easy to copy. Then maybe people find it very difficult to answer. But the right answer to this actually is like this. If you really have something that you think that you have a winning proposition, that means you have come up with some innovation, whatsoever that is, that may not be patentable, but that shows your creativity. And you will always try to remain ahead of others. If there are copycats, they are going to copy. Anything that can be copied will be copied. Nobody can prevent that. And there are many people sitting there without capability to innovate. They will keep copying. So that will always happen. But those who are smart, who come with the idea for the first time, they're creative, they will always remain ahead of those. Somebody copies your business model, you before they copy and come to the market, you are already one step ahead. You have already changed your business model to some extent, and they will remain with the catching up jobs. They'll do the catch up jobs all their lives, whereas you will remain ahead and you will grow much faster compared to them. And unless somebody is like that, then of course that is the reason why many companies die. Okay, this is some quotation I took from the internet. Now, competitive advantage is the thing that keeps you ahead of competition, ahead of others. You define it whatever way possible, but you need to gain some you need to come up with the strategies with ways customers will always think that you are better, your product is better, and customers will feel that you can be trusted, and they will normally not go to competitors. They will keep on coming to your company, and you have a winning proposition. That is the only mantra for winning, for remaining in business. If you think that customers are very happy and I can relax, then you will be caught on the wrong foot. You'll be caught napping when competitors are coming up with new ideas, and they're gradually they all of a sudden you will find that all customers are gone to them. I have been mentioning this repeatedly, but then most of the startups make this mistake. I keep reading blogs. In fact, since early morning today until now, I was reading and preparing that, and then reading many blogs just to understand competitive advantage better. And same thing is told by most of the companies. They give examples, many examples, and the succinct message is most of the companies make the same mistake. They are not thinking that things are changing so fast and you have to keep changing. You have to change before the change is happening, meaning you have to preempt the change. You have to preempt competitors move. They're going to come up with something new, and it is all means most of the new developments are extrapolated, meaning it's almost like a straight line. If you know whatever happened in the past, you can almost extrapolate what is going to happen in the future, because these are all human brains that is bringing about changes, and human brains are typically almost similar. They think similarly. When computer emerged in our civilization, it's not just it emerged in US. In fact, in India also computer was introduced At the same time, when it was introduced by Apple, ACL Computer introduced computers almost simultaneously when Apple introduced their first computer. Not exactly at the same time, but almost at the same time when it was commercially available. It was commercially available in India, not so much all pervasive because our mentality was different. Our corporate did not want to absorb because we were predominantly public sector at that point of time, and there was resistance from employees, blah blah. There are so many other problems. Otherwise, perhaps we would be more developed. Whatever that is, thing is that it is possible to extrapolate the future trend and understand what is going to happen in the future. So you do it before your competitors do and remain ahead of business. There are many features of competitive advantage, or there are many ways competitive advantages can be created. I think my document that I sent in the morning was better than these slides. I should have copied from there to the slides, but I'll just elaborate the most important features. One is entry barrier. Entry barrier meaning it's not written here. Entry barrier meaning you have a business and you're doing good. So many people in the world, many people in the marketplace have money and they're looking for opportunities. You talk to some people who are doing a business, they will say that I'm looking for an opportunity, but I'm not finding one. Even big corporate houses, they're under tension, they're under threat. They think that somebody or the other is going to take over the business by coming out with a new idea and then kill our business. So they are always in the lookout. Now if you come up with something and you present before investor, even the investors will tell the same thing to their invested companies. Suppose some venture capitalist or some angel has already invested in a company and your company is doing the same business as of them, but you are ahead of those business in terms of technologies. So the angel is going to tell his other companies that why don't you do this? I know that these guys are doing this. This is winning proposition, so you should also do. And then because they're already funded, they have mentors, so it becomes very difficult for you to maintain your superiority or technology edge because it will be copied. As there is always this saying that anything that is copyable will be copied. So it will be copied. Now you have to really come up with something new and then keep that new within yourself. Not that, suppose you are making a presentation before an angel, unless you tell them that you have some winning proposition, they're not going to invest. So you have a catch-22 situation, meaning that either you have to divulge or you don't have to you don't divulge. If you don't divulge, you don't get the funding. Divulge is you are exposed. But then you should remain confident, or maybe you should actually gain that capability of remaining ahead, meaning you have something to present now, but you are constantly working to bring some new knowledge, new competitive advantage. If that is there, then other people will not be able to enter into your domain. So this is called entry barrier. Entry barrier has two sides of it. One is, suppose you want to enter into a marketplace. You want to enter into a marketplace. Now you find that entering into that marketplace is an arduous task because many players have already created entry barriers, so you cannot enter. So this is entry barrier against your entry. Whereas you can create barriers while you create your enterprise. Technology is one of the ways with which you can create entry barrier. Technology by filing intellectual property right means by filing patent, or say you file copyright. Copyright is hardly anything. It really does not give much of protection unless you are a big player who can spend a lot of money to fight a case in the court of law. It's very difficult to really protect your software through copyright. And if one of your employees steal the code and then go elsewhere and then start a company or sell that to somebody else, it's very difficult to prove that it was your code, because code can always be modified a little bit and then your copyright is gone. copyright depends on the text, not really the logical part of it. Copyright protects the text per se, not the logical reasoning or logical flow of the codes of the program. So by copyright, you really don't protect much. Whereas patent actually give protection. Patent, and you give claims in the patent, and it's very difficult for anybody to copy, but then they can work around. Meaning, if they know your claims, they may tweak a little bit here and there and then file a patent. Eventually, they may prevent you from moving forward. So you may have no other alternative but to give license at a price that they command. So there are all that always. But then if you know that somebody may prevent me from moving ahead by saying this is like this. Suppose you have a molecule. Suppose you have a treatment for COVID. Now you got this molecule, you went ahead with phase 1 trial, phase 2 trial, phase 3 trial, and now you are in the market. If you are happy that you have a molecule and you have captured the market, so nice, then you will be caught napping. You will be caught on the wrong foot by others who are noticing that your molecule has some side effect. Now you need some polishing, or maybe you need to give another dose of another chemical to get rid of the side effect. If you are not conscious about it, then they will come up with that molecule. They will invent that or discover that and file a patent. Now they will say that so and so molecule has so much side effect and our medicine can get rid of that. Then you are caught, meaning that you have to now bargain with that company because you cannot infringe on their IP. It is them who came up with this knowledge and filed a patent. Whereas what you should have done is like this: simultaneously, while you are doing the phase 2 and phase 3 trial, you should know that there are side effects. You should not suppress that, neither you should overlook that, and you should set up another team to find out how this side effect can be means you can get over that, means you can work around and then get rid of that side effect. So if you are doing that, you will be filing another patent on that before your competitors can do, or somebody else whose primary interest is to block you from moving forward. There are professionals who do this in the business. You'll be surprised that if you are doing good business, you have an IP. There are many companies who look at your IP and try to prevent you from moving forward so that they can get a good bargain from you. If you don't proceed with the business, then they will come to you and then negotiate at a lower technology transfer fee, and then sell your technology and their technology as a bundle to another guy. But then they will command. You cannot, because they're ahead of you. This creates entry barrier. There are many other things that create entry barrier. Suppose you have created a brand. Brand is a huge thing, and brand gives a huge competitive advantage, but then creating brand is a huge affair. It's something that only some experienced people can do. Brand precisely is collective trust. Brand represent collective trust around a logo or a text or something that is around the brand. So meaning that brand represents a symbol, maybe a symbol or something, but what is underneath the symbol is the trust of loyal customer base. You have maybe several millions of people who trust some symbol that represents quality, that represents trust. So that is a winning brand. You can have any name, ABCD, XYZ or something, and you can call that as a brand, but it has no value. Brand value will depend on how many people trust that or assign value to the symbol, meaning that if that symbol is there on some product, how many people think that this product is good? That represents the value of the brand. So how you can create that trust that people will think that this symbol is there on a product, that means the product is good. you have to acquire that. That takes a lot of efforts. Most important thing is that you have to have value proposition which is superior compared to competitors. So people will think that yes, this product is good, and gradually they will start building trust around that brand. Then again, you have to continuously add value so that people don't at any point, no point of time, people think that there are better products than this. And then you should keep people's trust. If you promise that my product has this efficacy or whatever that is, say you are manufacturing detergent and you say that it so and so many grams of detergent is good enough for so many kilogram of clothes, and then it will do this, it should actually perform better in real life. Only then people will get a wow experience, that wow, this works much better than whatever I thought, or better than competitors product. And then gradually people start building trust. It is not just product quality and keeping the promise, after sale service, and so many other things. It is not only that. You have to really advertise so that increasing number of people come to know about it. First of all, people should know that you have a winning, a superior value proposition. If people do not know that you have a superior value proposition, nobody will come and buy. So you have to advertise, you have to go for sales promotion, meaning you give some kind of discount, or maybe some freebies, or maybe you invite some internet influencer and then let them use your product in a video, so that other people come to know that yes, this is a product I saw so and so to use, and only then it will become a brand. So that entry barrier is very much there. Third item is entry barrier. So if you can really create entry barrier that gives you unique competitive advantage, because other people, you already have established that your product is superior based on some IP, some intangible assets, or you have created trust around a brand and your product represents that brand, or brand represents that product. So you already have created a huge loyal customer base. So they are normally not going to go to another company or alternative product. Why they should not go? Because of two reasons. One, they are already trusted. Second, people are normally sticky about a brand. If I become loyal to one particular brand, then usually, unless the company does something greatly nasty, I will normally be forgiving about a small slippages here and there. Suppose I am in, say for example, some kind of beverage. Suppose you are a Coca-Cola fan. Now suppose the taste changes and you don't like it so much, but then for a long time you are not going to switch to some of the beverages, even though they are better. You will still, it's all human psychology and a little bit about hormone. It's not little bit, perhaps the most part is hormone. If it's called dopamine, serotonin, and many others. Meaning whenever you like something, then as soon as you see that there is some hormonal activity, and then you again buy that, consume that, you feel nice, feel good, and your brain gets tuned with that. So brain now knows that whenever I look at Coca-Cola, I should secrete more dopamine, so that my person, your brain is a separate entity. Your brain thinks that okay, this body is going to like it. So gradually, as you move forward, more and more dopamine secretes, and then it becomes a bond, a strong bond. Now changing that bond becomes very difficult. Even if 100 people tell you that this is not good, that is good, that is better, you're not going to change. So creating that brand gives you not only entry barrier, but also pricing power. That is the last item, penultimate item, pricing power. Pricing power represents your power to increase price of your product without the risk of losing customers. Suppose you are selling whatever, say some regular commodity, it should be a competitive market. Suppose you are selling cement. Cement is oligopolistic market. We'll talk about that when we talk about marketing and market research. Suppose you are selling cement. Now, if you increase the price of cement in fine morning, people will not buy. People will, because there are so many alternatives available in the marketplace. So they will see that your product price is say 1% more than other products. There are many other similar products. So people will switch to something different. And if somebody is price sensitive, their first question will be which is the cheapest one. And if somebody is quality conscious, they will also say which quality is better. They may not be so much price sensitive, they will buy. But if your brand is trusted, suppose I go to market to buy steel. Now, if I see, I'll go to market with the mentality that I'm going to buy Tata Steel. Now I go there and my my shopkeepers tells me Tata Steel has, price has gone up recently. Company has increased the price by 10%. So 1 ton will be something like 55,000, whereas other companies' price will be 50,000. Still, I'll go and buy Tata Steel. I'll think that the purpose of increasing the price may be just they have improved the quality, rather than thinking that company is milking me of extra 5,000 rupees. That is the value or the power of brand, trust, loyalty, etc. So one has to really try to gain the trust of customer through various other means I mentioned in the note. So one should really try to acquire the trust, acquire their allegiance, so that they never quit. Even under distress situation, like when input cost goes up and you increase the price, your customers will remain loyal to you. So when going becomes very tough for others, you will go quite easy because of the brand. And there are many other things. Scalability is very important, but this is not competitive advantage. I am going to change these slides. Once I made this, I did not modify. So I'm going to modify it today and then send you. Maybe by tomorrow I should be able to send. Scalability is not a competitive advantage in a way, but this in remotely it is competitive advantage, because without a scalable business model, you will not move anywhere. It will lead to a natural death. So in that sense, it is definitely a competitive advantage. Suppose your competitors have limited scalability, you have better scalability, you will be better off. They will be worse off. What is scalability? It's like this. Suppose you start a business, you acquire some customers, they are innovator kind of customers. Then you acquire some more, they are early adopters. So they are fine, they are not so much bothered about aesthetic, etc. So they buy. Now, moving from early adopters to early majority is a huge leap forward, because they are very difficult to convince. Unless they are amply sure that your product is much better, they are not going to switch from their existing brand to your brand, because they are already loyal to some brand. Now, to snatch people from that brand, you remember the example of Huggies. You have to come up with something like that to really dislodge people from some existing mental space to come to your brand. So you need that your story, your many other value proposition will lead to scalability, meaning will lead to people coming to you rather than going to competitors. It's not just that. There are many business models where inherently scalability is not present. I'll give you an example. See, we had Professor Sujoy Guho in SMST. Listen carefully. This is a unique example. You'll not find that in a book. Professor Sujoy Guho came up with a male contraceptive, and then it's just an injection. You give one injection and a male person remain infertile for 12 long years. But if he wants to be fertile again, you give another antidote and he becomes, just with one injection, he becomes fertile. So for 12 years, your medicine is going to work. It's such a wonder, and there is no side effect. And we thought he's going to get a Nobel Prize for this. Now, I was at SRIC at that point of time. We tried hard to transfer this technology to pharmacy. We had the phase 3 trial and many people were sterile. Of course, we had to pay some money to them, etc., etc. But we were looking for some pharmaceutical companies to take this product and go to market. Many pharmaceutical companies came. They said, wow, this is wonderful technology. This is a groundbreaking technology, and this is going to disrupt the entire industry. And then while going back to their office, they said, thank you very much. Thank you. They never said that we'll come back, and they never came back. Then we tried to understand why these people said so much good about the technology and the product, and they never came back. What happened? Then somebody revealed that, look, your medicine will make one person sterile for 12 years. Now, suppose we give injection to all the male people in India. Then for 12 years, we have no business. For 12 long years, we have no business. Because one guy comes to us only once in 12 years. They don't come repeatedly. So this business model will not go anywhere. At the beginning, we'll make some money, but then we have to sit back and shut down our company for 12 years for another generations to come, or maybe those people to come back. So that's a very sad story about such a wonderful new innovation. But then if you do not have a business where customers have to come repeatedly, or increasing number of customers will come, your business will not scale to new height. Another example, I will invite Pritam Prashun from what is that place? Holland, not Holland. I used to talk about Switzerland, but it's not Switzerland. It is just by the side of it. I am forgetting the name. He's in Europe. And then he's an IITian. He was here. He floated a company for selling T-shirts. Then he was doing good business. T-shirt business is almost like a grocery shop. People come and buy, and you don't have much innovation, and you make some money. He was making something like 10,000 rupees a month or so selling T-shirt online through Amazon. But then at some point of time he stopped. So I asked him, why did you stop this business? He said the business was not scaling. We had reached to a plateau from where it was not going anywhere. So we stopped doing that business. So, but he's doing many other businesses. He started from IIT Kharagpur. He went to Delhi. He started at Delhi. Now he's in Austria. I was not finding his name. This funny thing. He's in Vienna, Austria. So, meaning he's already a multinational. It's about 2-3 years. Within 2-3 years, he has reached this level. Last semester, he talked to the students. Last semester, I had 366 students in the class. This semester, I have invited only 2 venture capitalists. I'll be inviting Anish Reddy, Pritam Prashun, and then maybe Lokesh Gupta. If possible, I am not very sure. Rahul of Swiggy has shown interest. So I don't know whether time will be convenient. Then I'll be inviting him to talk to you guys. Let us see. Now, so that is scalability. Unless it scales, you cannot earn more money. Investors will feel this is not a business model to invest in, because they want to see that today your turnover is 5 crore. Next year it should be 10 crore. Next to next, it should be increasing leaps and bounds. It should not remain something like 5 crore to 10 crore in 10 years, and your profit remains something like, say, profit increases by maybe 20% every year. So now it is 1 crore. It will reach something like 5 crore in 10 years. It doesn't attract anybody's interest. So nobody is interested in that kind of a business model. That is why scalability is very important. Core competency is a definitive competitive advantage. Let me explain what is core competency. This idea was not there in the horizon till one Indian came up with this idea. One Indian, one American. His name is C.K. Prahalad. C.K. Prahalad, he was a professor at University of Michigan, and Gary Hamel. These 2 guys published a paper sometime in 1995, I believe. and they coined the term core competency, and then it became a dictionary phrase, core competency. Now it is available everywhere and it's in the vocabulary. Core competency, they said, and still it is valid, is some competency that you acquire over a period of time through lot of harmonized action, like quality, like efficiency, like empowerment, empowering your employees, etc., etc. Many things you do together, and then you gain so much of competency that leads to some offering, maybe product or service, with that kind of features that nobody will be able to compete, number one. Number two, even you will not be able to identify as to what competency you have, but then it will be inbuilt in your product, meaning that it is not visible from outside. So if somebody picks up your product from the marketplace and tries to emulate or copy your product, they will fail miserably, because it is not the competency which are visible. That is what is core competence. It is something very different, and it comes bundled with many properties. So if you really can acquire core competency, then it's very difficult to compete with you. You will have leverage over others. Then there are others like logistic advantage. You already know that if you have a nice delivery network, so if like Flipkart, you buy something from Flipkart, day after tomorrow the product will be available in Kharagpur, will be delivered. So you get a huge wow, huge experience, excitement, you feel happy. And anybody who can deliver happiness to the customer, anybody who can deliver happiness to the customers, they win. Like say, there are many compromises that people make, but then because of some features, they win. For example, Apple. If I say Apple is a nasty product, probably many people will come to murder me. But you talk to many people who are using Apple MacBook, and you tell them that MacBook is not so good as a Windows-based laptop, because Windows-based laptop is more versatile. Perhaps even a die-hard Apple lover will agree. Perhaps, I'm not sure. I'm not disputing or anything. This is a story that is told in internet by many people, and my personal experience also is similar. One of my research scholars bought iMac, means is it called iMac or just MacBook? So he bought it, and I saw that and I felt that it is just for esteem for which this guy bought it. And eventually he agreed that this is a bad investment. But then still you tell somebody that Apple product is not a good product, nobody is going to accept that proposition, because Apple has an edge on the design part, and they do everything possible in design, but then they compromise on many other things. That is why some people are not happy. Even those people will have an iPhone in the pocket, MacBook in their laptop, but still they will, and they feel that they are not as good as others, but they'll not lip that and buy something else, because Apple has exploited the design part so well that people will be forgiving about any other feature. So you have to be able to come to that level, meaning you have to identify where lies your mojo, meaning whichever area you can actually focus and then highlight that to some audience. They become aware about that. They will be forgiving about other things, provided they feel enamored about this particular feature. Like this aesthetic of Apple products, external aesthetics of Apple product is so heavy or something that only wins, and at a very high price. People don't mind paying high price. So it's not very, neither it's so easy, at the same time it's not so difficult. Thing is that many people actually don't realize that, or maybe many people don't even think of creating some other say strong areas using which they can create this kind of a mental perception among customers to win. Then there is something called easy product extension is highly necessary. Like say, and this is on a very different context. I'm giving an example. You know, this company Imami came up with a product called crack cream. I'm not very sure if it is Imami. Just hear this in the guise of a story, in the spirit of a story. So they hired everybody under the sun worth a name. Shah Rukh Khan, Saurabh Ganguly, Amitabh Bachchan. Then on the lady side, all the super heroine, they put them to advertise a product whose turnover may be something like 20 crore rupees a year. Perhaps they spend 100 crore for advertisement. Why? Because they wanted to create a brand image, and then under the brand they wanted to push more product, maybe 50 products or 100 products. So once you create an image of your brand in the minds of a large customer, large people, then people associate with that brand with value. They will not question whether this product is good or bad. They will know that this brand is good and they will start buying, and you will push product worth 1000 crore, and then you don't mind spending 100 crore, because if you sell 1000 crore worth of product, it's going to give you something like 500 crore rupees, because in personal care products, it is the brand that sells. These products are all similar. Most of the products, they are all similar, almost similar. There is hardly any differentiator in terms of material. It is the brand image that is the differentiator. So raw material cost and other cost will be hardly anything. Not exactly hardly anything. For 10,000 crore rupees of turnover, maybe your raw material cost will be 100 crore. Your advertisement will be another 100 crore. Marketing and other things will be another maybe something, and perhaps you end up making 500 crore rupees worth of profit. And that is why people spend so much money for building brand, because brand sells. Okay, these are all same thing I have already discussed, so let us not spend so much of time on this. What happened? Okay, so I was talking about entry barrier from the customer side, from your side, or this is, suppose this is the marketplace, you are on the other side of the barrier, here you are on this side of the barrier. There is a word called moat, M-O-A-T, and in your lifetime you'll be hearing this word many times. Let me explain what is a moat. Moat is a kind of a castle where the king or maybe the rich and famous people live. They used to live, not today. Earlier days, when the law and order situation was not as good as today, people used to, if somebody has access to arms and ammunition, or there were unorganized terrorists, we never used to call them terrorists, but their primary job was to loot wealth from others. So what rich people used to do, they used to build a castle in a water body, and they used to leave crocodile in the water body, and they used to remove the path that leads to the castle in the night time, so that people cannot have access to the castle. And if somebody tries to swim, they will be eaten by crocodile. So imagine that there is a marketplace, and this marketplace is dominated by some existing brands or existing companies, limited number. They have, brand presence, etc., etc. It will be very difficult for anybody to enter. You can enter like Huggies only if you can make a bridge. And that bridge should be something in terms of new technology, new brand, new storytelling, etc., etc. Only then you can. These are already discussed. Pricing power, I have already discussed. Pricing power is the ability to raise the price but without the risk of losing the customer, fear of losing the customer. Obviously, even if we raise the price, customer will think, and here is a story, wonderful story. See, this guy, what's his name? Scrail, Martin Scrail, I believe. It's not written here. Martin Scrail is it's written there at the top of the guy on his head. Martin Scrail. He was a hedge fund expert. If you do not know what is a hedge fund analyst or something, let me spend 30 seconds to explain that. Hedge funds, their primary job is to hedge position, and hedging means you take two actions. In one action, you take a position to buy or sell a particular asset, maybe shares or maybe foreign exchange. Suppose you think that Reliance Industries share will move up today. That is the position you take. So you buy maybe say 100 crore Reliance share, 100 crore Reliance share. You buy 100 crore Reliance share. Now, instead of going up, suppose Reliance share goes down. So 100 crore, you can imagine how much money you are going to lose if the price goes down by 1%. It will be humongous. To prevent you from such a loss, you can actually buy another instrument to prevent from that kind of a loss. What you can do is you can buy an option or sell an option. You are buying shares, you sell an option maybe, or a put option. That is, if the Reliance share price goes down, your option price will go up. And in case the price goes up, in any case, you are going to be rich because you have already bought 100 crore share. So that is called hedging. And there are investment firms, big firms, not small firms. These people have not billions of dollars. They have thousands of billions of dollars under their management, and they make money through this hedging business. And if you are working in a hedge funds, your salary will not be in terms of $1 lakh or $2 lakh. Your salary will be in terms of millions of dollars. In fact, in an interview, if you say that your expected salary is 1 crore or 2 crore, they may not even talk to you. That is the kind of expectation that they have. So, because each analyst will create hundreds, maybe tens of crores on a daily basis. Some days they will be making loss, but many days they will be creating wealth for them. At the end of the year, perhaps each analyst will give them more than 100 crore rupees of profit. So they don't mind splurging money on them. Giving them a check of 5 crore, 10 crore every now and then is not a problem. So this guy was a hedge fund analyst. So he accumulated wealth and he was looking for opportunity. Now one day he found that a company by the name, a drug by the name Daraprim was there, which is important for treatment of AIDS patient. It's not really treatment for AIDS, but if somebody has AIDS, then Daraprim is necessary for something. I don't have the details, but it is almost like indispensable, meaning without this drug, you have life-threatening chance. And that drug was selling for $13.5 a pill, a course, $13.5 a tablet, sorry. Then he thought that this company has a monopoly because there is no other drug as an alternative. So if I buy this share, buy this company, then I'm going to make a fortune. So he bought out this company. He bought out the day he bought out, he immediately increased the price to 750 rupees to a tablet, from $13.5 to $750 overnight. And people were still buying because they had nothing else to rely on. So they had to buy. So people criticize because America does not have a policy. In India, there is a policy. You cannot increase the price just like that, anything. But in US, it's an absolutely open market. So anybody can do anything. Anybody can sell anything at any price. Government could not do anything, but the reporter came off heavily on him and they were criticizing. So he felt very sorry about it. Next day he came up with a news conference where he said, I must be an idiot to increase the price from $13.5 a tablet to $750 a tablet. Why am I an idiot? Because I should have increased the price to $1,350 a tablet rather than $750, because people have nowhere else to go but to come to me. So it was a poor decision for me to increase the price to $750 instead of maybe $1,500, because this guy was a jerk. So that was his joke in the news conference. And if ever anyone tries to suck the customer, remember what Peter Drucker said, that the 5 deadly mistakes, one of the 5 deadly mistakes that entrepreneurs make is to overprice their product. If you do that, it is death nail in the coffin. And look at what happened to him. This is the guy. Look at him closely. FBI is arresting him, not for increasing the price, because a guy with this kind of mentality will keep doing nasty things, and eventually they will be caught. They cannot. Meaning, if somebody has this in his mind, his or her mind, he or she is going to commit similar mistake here and there, and eventually this is going to happen. And not only that, within a year's time, this happened which year? I think I have the year mentioned somewhere. It was 2015. In 2016, FDA approved another product, a copycat of Daraprim, and that will be sold in the market for $1. $1. Now think, $750 a competing product, and somebody is coming with a $1 copycat. Imagine what is going to happen to that company. India came up with another molecule that will cost only 4 cents, $0.04. In Australia, some student came up with a molecule for $1. Why this happened? Because people identified opportunity. Whenever something becomes too compelling reason that you have to come up with something and you have a winning proposition, people are waiting every nook and corner of the world to, usurp that opportunity, and they will come up with something or the other. So if somebody has a winning proposition, and if he is milking the customers or if he is hiding the technology, somebody or the other will come up with the technology and win the market. So if you are a notorious guy, you will pay huge price for that. Market structure is another construct I want to explain. Suppose you are thinking of launching a product, or maybe you have an idea, you want to go to market, you want to start building that product, building technology. What you're going to do is you are going to identify the pain, then understand, define the pain, come up with the product, then keep on validating through input from the customers. But that is not good enough. You have to, I said there are 2 hypotheses. One is value hypothesis, that says that you are going to create sufficient value for the customer's money so that they will come to you rather than going to competitors. There is another called growth hypothesis. Growth hypothesis says that you are trying to cater to a marketplace which is sufficiently large. Not only that, market is going to grow, not just remain this big, but market is going to grow. So this is one of the primary features of market, and that is called market structure. How is the growth? How was the growth potential in the past? How big, how large is the market today, and how fast the market is going to grow? All this together, and then another, that is, are there too many players in the marketplace? Or is there a space for new entrant to come in and acquire sufficient number of customers? If it is not there, then the market structure is not attractive. So everything together represent market share: past growth, present growth, future growth, market size, then competitive landscape. So yeah, there are different kinds of markets. One is monopolistic market, where you are the only player, so people have nowhere else to go but to come to you. There are oligopolistic. I mentioned cement is an oligopolistic market. Steel is an oligopolistic market, where there are many players, not many, but some players. But then they can make a collusion among themselves and increase the price whenever necessary. So they have little bit of a product differentiation, but then they can collude. That is why there is this world called oligarchs. In Russia, there are oligarchs. In US, there are oligarchs. They control the government because they are almost like monopolists. It's not monopolist, but oligopolist. There are many monopolists. Many monopolists make oligopolist. So these people are filthy rich, and no government dares to dislodge them. If anybody dares, he or she will be out of power in no time. Those are called oligarchs. Perfect competition where there are many players and there is hardly any product differentiation. Everybody is selling almost at the same price and customers have choices from one to another. Drucker's 5 deadly sins. You should understand and it should remain in your mind all through your life. One is seeking profit margin and premium pricing, the example that I gave. Charging what the market will bear, like this guy, Scale. You should not think that customers can afford, so I increase the price, like Xerox and DuPont. Nylon was invented by DuPont, but DuPont did not increase the price just like that. People did not have another option to go to anybody else, but DuPont priced the product very fairly. They had some cost structure. They had a policy of making profit, maybe 15%. I don't know. So if they have a 15% policy, profit policy, then they will add 15% of their cost. It is called cost plus pricing. So they followed some pricing model, not really tried to milking the customers using cost driven price. If you think that my cost is 100 rupees per product, so it will be 100 plus 15% and it should be 115 rupees. The example that I gave, that is also not a good idea. You have to have the market in the mind. If the competitors are selling at 95, 99 rupees, you cannot sell at 115, obviously. So it depends on the market structure. Focusing on the past winners. Suppose in the past there was a product that has given you a lot of money and people were fida about it and you thought that this is the winning product. And market has changed. Now people's taste has changed, but you think that, oh my God, I like my baby and this baby has to be given attention. So in the process, you do not focus on new product. You focus on old products and old product that does not sell, like IBM. IBM was a mainframe computer company. They diversified into PC, but they always focused on mainframe. Even the PC business was increasing like anything. So they gave instruction to marketing people that never ever try to sell PC to a customer who has a mainframe, because we don't want to kill the mainframe. What happened in the process is that many companies came up with PCs, which is better than IBM PCs, because IBM was not focusing on that. And IBM lost heavily. They had to sell that PC business to Lenovo of China. Giving problems priority over opportunity. Listen very carefully. It happens in many companies, most companies. Suppose you have a lot of problems, you have a lot of technical guys. Whenever there is a problem, you do firefighting as if there is a fire. Now you have to douse the fire. So what you do is you invite the best talent. Guys, just come here. There is an urgent problem. You have to do the firefighting. Just focus your attention on this. So you engage all your top talent to solve problems. Whereas you have a winning product coming up, you need the top talent to focus on that so that tomorrow you can launch that product. Instead of doing that, you are putting some, not so top talent, putting some kind of a mediocre guys to focus on the product development aspect and putting the top talent on other side. This is called focusing on the problem rather than opportunities. You should put top talent on opportunities and some talent on the problem side so that you can douse the fire, at least keep the fire under control, if not douse completely, but don't neglect the product side of it. Repeatability. I said customers should come to you repeatedly, do whatever is necessary. Easy products extension. I gave the example of Imami, core competence. Yes.
Sir, what is cost driven pricing, sir?
Cost driven pricing is like this. Suppose your cost of manufacturing a product is, say, 100 rupees. Now you think that if my cost is 100, I must have a profit of 10%. So you price your product as 110. whereas the market cannot absorb 110, or maybe the market can absorb 150. Without an eye on the market, without an eye on competitors' pricing, if you focus only on cost plus pricing, you will lose an opportunity on one side. You may also lose the customer on the other side. That is market driven price or cost plus price. Market driven price is very different. Market driven price is whatever the competitors are pricing, you try to price either slightly above that or slightly below that, depending on your story, depending on how you position. Suppose you are positioning your product on to a premium customer base who are more interested about quality or esteem, high esteem. If you price your product slightly lower than the competitors, they will think this is not good enough because Tom, Dick, Harry can buy. So they will not think that way. Automatically they will be discouraged to buy your product. Instead, you try, if you are focusing on premium customers, then you should price slightly higher, not slightly, maybe at times much higher. So only then you can acquire customers. Is my slide visible?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. So product extension I mentioned, that is gone. Let me see. Yeah, core competency. You see the blue color text. In other words, it is unique capability or efficiency gained through harmonized combination of multiple resources. Like you promote the staff, encourage the staff to think creatively. You inculcate a culture of quality, inculcate a culture of ethical standard, so that whenever somebody thinks about something, they never try to think below a certain line. That is the standard. So gradually everything combined together creates some kind of value that becomes inimitable. Nobody can emulate that. Logistic advantage like Flipkart I mentioned, a strong brand. Brand means through a strong brand you can definitely create indefeatable, I don't know if this is the right word, meaning nobody can defeat your company, your product. Like Airbnb, they after 10 years of existence, they came up with a new brand, the brand new logo called Bello or something. What is that? This logo represents, first is the people, second is the geography or the location, third is love, fourth is A. So people of all geographies, they love and the affection of other people, means they love to visit, and then they extend their love to everybody. And then A is Airbnb. So Airbnb offers people an opportunity to go anywhere and everywhere and get love from them as if they belong to this place. So it is the sense of belongingness. You belong anywhere, and anywhere people love you. That is what Airbnb logo represents, and that they came up with this logo after 10 years of existence. Other things which give competitive advantage is cost leadership, meaning you try to reduce the cost. Product differentiation, it's a huge subject, maybe I'll be covering in the next day. Operational efficiency, that reduces cost. Adaptability of competitive advantage. Then the information advantage is huge, and if any company are not capable of deriving advantage of their information, they will die natural death, because information relates to customer. Depending on what customer, how the customers is visiting your website, how many of them are buying, how many of them are not buying, where they are clicking, just where they are clicking before leaving your website will give you insight why they left without buying. And if you know that they clicked at some place and then they bought, will give you insight as to why did they buy. So likewise, you can analyze all the data. You should capture the data, analyze the data to understand how to acquire new customer and retain them as repeat customers. So unless you have all those advantages, you are not going to win. These are product differentiation. I'll cover next day, and then Porter's 5 forces. Okay. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.